Hi everybody, it's Chris from the Evermore YouTube channel, back with my thought stroke rant of the day. Bit of both this one actually, a bit of a blended cocktail of thoughts and rants. Thrants, if you will, if that's even a word, I've just made that up. But yes, we're talking about pundits yet again. The pundit picks for Newcastle United, try something after £4. The pundit picks and where we're going to finish the season, and also a little bit about our transfer summer spending activity. And surprise, surprise, it's come from two former Liverpool players, if you want to call them Liverpool legends. Maybe one is still a Liverpool legend, the other one is a bit of a shithouse. I don't think any club likes him. So let's start with that little shitbag first. It's Michael Owen. We all love and hate Michael Owen as Newcastle fans. You know, we have terrible memories of that little fucking wretched weasel when he was at Newcastle United. More interested in reading the Racing Post and actually making a run for a pass. Spent more time on the treatment table than he did in the pitch and ran out of here as quick as he possibly fucking could when we got relegated. But he's been trying to kiss our arse over the last kind of year and a half when we've been doing quite well. But he's came out with his Premier League prediction. I can't even remember what outlet he put it in now, possibly Talk Sport, I think it might have been. Normally that rattles me. So I think he put his league finishes in, and he had Newcastle finishing 7th, which a lot of pundits have had us finishing 6th or 7th. Some pundits, weirdly enough, had Aston Villa finishing 4th. Listen, Villa have been brilliant last season and signed really well in the summer, but no fucking way of Villa finishing 4th. I'm sorry, no chance. But surprisingly enough, Michael Owen didn't put Villa 4th. No, he put Liverpool back in the top 4. I think he's put Chelsea in amongst it as well. Obviously Man United in there. So these guys think that Chelsea and Liverpool are going to have better seasons than Newcastle. Now, listen, part of me kind of doesn't disagree with it. I think Liverpool and Chelsea were both really shit last season, and Newcastle capitalised on that, and we managed to get ourselves in the top 4. But we well deserved to be in the top 4. So, you know, for me, Michael Owen's talking about he doesn't think that Newcastle got the squad depth and they can think to deal with the Champions League and everything else, and that's why we're going to finish 7th. So that's about as much as I'm going to say about that little bellend, because we all know he talks utter fucking nonsense, and the fact he's even still being employed to try and talk about football is ridiculous. Now, people who are too young to remember, he was a lot better playing football than he was talking about football. Certainly not when he was with us, unfortunately. He was shite at both. But moving on to the next ex-Liverpool player, who is kind of a club legend as well. It's the friend to motorists, Jamie Carragher. Sorry, Jamie, I can't resist every time. So Jamie Carragher's been on the overlap, or the overcrap, as I'm going to now rename it, just given the complete steaming piles of shite that fly out the mouths of him and Neville. Occasionally Keane. I don't mind Keane, to be fair. He's quite good, Keane. He's quite down the middle and that, and you know, and he's got quite a cold, dry wit that I do find quite endearing, and I'm a bit scared of him. But Carragher and Neville do talk a little bit of shit in there. Some of the fans, oh my God, they talk absolute fucking bollocks. I mean, the fact they got that boovie on there, who's an utter fucking wank wet wipe, that probably just does any credibility in the toilet. Love Kendall, who's on there. Kendall's been on with us before, but everybody else is fucking dreadful. So moving on to what Carragher said about Newcastle and about the transfers and everything else as well. So he's talking about the summer signings. And he said that given Newcastle's position financially and the fact they were in the Champions League, he doesn't really feel like the signings have excited the fans. You know, he pulled out Tonali and said, obviously, Tonali's one of the players that I would expect them to kind of go and sign that kind of a name of player. But then he said, you've got one player who hasn't played for Southampton for a long time in Tino Livramento. And then he said one player who got relegated with Leicester, Harvey Barnes, who I think is a good player, is what he caveated and said. But he basically said, you know, are they really Champions League players, and should Newcastle fans really be excited about that business? So I think he said there were Eddie Howe players. Well, duh, he is the manager, and he's got every ounce of credibility in the bank, more so. You know, I think even Jesus would struggle to get away with more than Eddie Howe in Newcastle. The man walks on water. But they are Eddie Howe players because Eddie Howe has a certain style of the way he wants to play, Jamie. So, of course, we're going to sign Eddie Howe players. We're not going to sign Ten Hag type players or Pochettino type players because they're not our manager. Eddie Howe is our manager. So Eddie Howe plays a fast-pressing, intense game, and he wants players to do exactly the same. So he's not going to, you know, sign a Thiago like Liverpool did, someone who's going to sit deep and want 16 touches and little passes here and there and little rolls of the ball. He's not going to sign a player like that. He wants a player with a bit more intensity, which is why he signed Sandro Tonali. So, but the bit that really annoys me about this, and some of the boys in the chat group were a bit more zen about this than I was, but there's low-key shithouse going on here. just having a pop at Newcastle, basically saying, no, you got all that money and you're in Champions League and you're not signing these big players, they don't want to come to you. And so if Sandro Tonali and Harvey Barnes had signed for Liverpool, Jamie Carragher would be creaming in his pants about how wonderful those two players were. Make no fucking mistake about that whatsoever. It's because they've come to Newcastle, he's underplaying it, right? And Carragher's nowhere near the worst of them at all. A lot of times he's actually all right, speaks a lot of sense. Loves Alexander Isak, don't we all? But they definitely underplay Newcastle United transfers because they don't want us to be a threat. They don't want us to be back up there. They want their teams to be up there. They want Man United winning the league in Neville's case. They want Liverpool back in the top four in Carragher's case. They don't want Newcastle United in the top four. So they low-key undermine us and undercut us every possible chance they get. So take this with a massive pinch of salt, what Carragher's saying. I don't even believe he believes it himself. You look at Harvey Barnes, right? He's talking about Champions League experience. Harvey Barnes made his debut for Leicester in the fucking Champions League. The lad's played Champions League before, so he has experience in the Champions League. Sandro Tonali's obviously got experience in the Champions League. Tino Livramento has been at Chelsea before he went to Southampton. He's played with a bunch of players that have Champions League experience. So these lads will be absolutely fine, Carragher. Don't you worry about it, mate. And I really hope that either Barnes or Tonali score the fucking winner against Liverpool just to shove it right in this guy's dish. It'll make me laugh my knackers off. It really will. But going back to our signings, listen, I know we've got holes. We're going to talk about that with the lads this week as well. We have got holes in the team, but those three signings, and in particular Barnes and Tonali, are top-class players. You look at Harvey Barnes in that pre-season game against Villarreal, the finishing, the clinical finishing of the lad, he is going to get 10 goals plus this season for Newcastle United. Mark my words. And I think he will be better for us, possibly, than Szoboszlai will be for Liverpool. So you can record that one and snip that one, Mark, and let's just play that back at the end of the season and see if I'm right or not. Because I think Harvey Barnes is a fantastic footballer. I really do. And I just think Carragher's underplaying these signings and not giving them the credibility. I mean, what did you want us to do, Jamie? Go up and sign all these massive big name players for 105 million quid. Worked well for Chelsea, mate, didn't it? Not really. They fucking self-imploded with a bunch of players who couldn't play with each other, and they kept turning over managers, like yesterday's dirty linen. So, yeah, Newcastle United are not there. Newcastle United want consistency. They want an understanding between the squad as to what they're doing, how they're playing, who's key here and there and every other way, who can come in and fit in and everything else. And that's why Eddie Howe and Dan Ashworth have scouted the players perfectly to fit into that system. And that's why they've signed Harvey Barnes, Sandro Tonali and Tino Livramento, and hopefully be one or two more coming through the door. But that's me done for today's rant. This is the kind of thing you like. Smash that button, guys. Subscribe. We're nearly at 4,500 subscribers, so massive thanks to everyone who's hit that button thus far. Loads of room for you if you haven't smashed that button. Like the video too. Help the channel get around YouTube. Help it grow. And we'll be back with some more Newcastle United banter very soon, because the league is about to begin and Newcastle United will start like a house on fire, I'm sure, with 3 points against the Villa. We'll catch you there, everyone. Cheers. Bye.